Boom! I'm back, aka Crack. Occasionally Hanzo. Or something. Django. I don't remember the intro. Who gives a shit? Whatever! I'm back. May or may not be doing a commentary. You might be listening to this. You may not be listening to this. Could just all be an illusion in the mind. However, this is Star Wars Battlefront beta. And basically the beta ended today. I was salty. I was going to stream it. Got on to stream it. It's like, hey! The beta's over! Well, fuck. My exact thinking towards the matter. In a nutshell though, basically, I've been playing quite a lot of the beta as of lately since it got released last Thursday. And I've been on the hunt for the 100 plus game. Kind of ignoring a lot of the objectives here and there, but unfortunately I didn't actually manage to get it. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. Didn't manage to get it. This is arguably my best gameplay. Had some slight technical difficulties relating to some other gameplays. But yeah, it's neither here nor there. But whatever, I'm back. In terms of upcoming content on this channel, who fucking knows? This might just be a one-off. Me putting up arguably my best, well, KD ratio game that I got on Battlefront. But you know what is here or there. But anyway, moving on. Basically, I want to start off talking about my Star Wars beta opinions and what I think about the game and so on and so forth. Well, initially I didn't like the game at first. I wasn't really getting into the gist of things. I don't know whether or not it was me not getting acquainted to the mechanics as easily as I thought I would, but to be honest, it's kind of different from any other FPS shooter out there. So I think with me it was just more of a transitional period because I'd come off playing a lot of the Rainbow Six Siege beta as well as playing a lot of Metal Gear Online. So I don't know, I think that with me it was a lot of difficulty with transitioning to this game and understanding the mechanics and the gameplay style of how to play it and so on and so forth. But yeah, initially at first I didn't like it, but it grew on me more and more, and then it led me to the point where I was basically, this was the only thing that I was playing, and I was basically streaming it quite a lot as well, and then I basically stopped streaming it. I've been ill the last couple of days, feeling a little bit better today, whatever, it is what it is. But over that time period as well, while I was off stream, I've been recording gameplay, still trying to go for this 100 plus game. But it didn't happen, so it's kind of unfortunate. I imagine when it comes around to the full release on November 17th of, well, the full release of the game, like I said, I imagine I probably will be able to try and bash out the 100 plus game. But you know, it's neither here nor there. But overall, my opinions of this game, after not liking it initially and then moving on to where I am now, I mean, I really do enjoy the game, and I do think that it will be purchased by myself. And in terms of me recommending it to other people, I'd say I'd recommend it, especially if you're in a situation where you enjoy the Star Wars franchise and you kind of just want a game where you can run around and have fun with the whole Star Wars aesthetic and, you know, atmosphere. It's definitely a good game. I didn't think I would initially like it as much as I thought I would, but honestly, with, you know, just the whole Star Wars concept just basically sold me on the entire game. And I hear a lot of people make the comparison like, oh, it's basically Star Wars but Battlefield, you know? It's Battlefield Star Wars, which I wouldn't really agree with per se. I kind of came up with the analogy that it's a Star Wars game developed by the people who made Battlefield, so that kind of gives you an idea of, like, you know, a bit more perspective on what the game's going to be like. But I feel as if it's more action paced than any other Battlefield that's out there, so I wouldn't really make the direct comparison between, you know, a Battlefield game per se, but at the same time I kind of do think it shares a lot of aspects in terms of Battlefield. But I'd say that it feels a lot more like a Crysis kind of game style, I guess you could say, with, you know, a lot of the fast movements and more Twitch FPS kind of mechanics, along with, you know, traversing the map in more of a what's the word, faster, you know, I don't know, whatever, just a faster way, I guess you could say. But yeah, all in all, I really do like the game. gotta say. I'm not just like saying it because I'm a mad Star Wars fanboy, because I'm not really a mad Star Wars fanboy. I do enjoy the Star Wars kind of franchise. I even enjoy some of the first movies more than I probably should, but that's just me. People entitled to opinions, so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't know. I do enjoy the game. Will be purchasing the game. It's just one of them things. Expect to see more content of this on my channel in the coming months, especially once the game's been released. I may put up some random clips here and there, maybe a few stream highlights. The quality isn't going to be as good. This is kind of what led me on to wanting to record a gameplay with a high resolution and so on and so forth, and actually commentating over the top of it, because quality of the stream, traversing it over to YouTube, and it loses a lot of quality. So I mean, it is the way it is, I guess. You can't really argue about it. But I want to talk about a bit more in depth about the map Hoth, and particularly speaking about how people have perceived Hoth to be unbalanced. And I will be bringing another gameplay, that's a guaranteed, which is I don't want to spoil it in fact, but it's a very, very quick rebel defense of Hoth against the Imperials, or whatever you want to call them. And I think I'll basically cross that bridge and go into it a bit more in depth on that gameplay, but that's still to come, so I don't really want to spoil it, but I think it'll be interesting when it comes down to it. But in terms of Hoth being unbalanced, don't particularly see it at first. I was kind of like, yeah, it's a bit unbalanced, but I was more looking in towards the overpowered aspects of the game. I think generally, all in all, from what I've seen in terms of, you know, weapons and so on and so forth, they don't really seem that diverse. For instance, it's not really a case where you'll favour a weapon because it's better close range, because it has a higher rate of fire over a weapon that has a higher damage. I don't really see that. I mean, obviously with the full release, there's probably going to be a lot more blasters, so on and so forth, you know, more classes, whatever you. But in terms of like diversity in the beta, I feel as if it's not really a case. I mean, like you saw there, the DLT-19 is probably the most, it is the highest rate of fire weapon, but also has the least amount of damage. And that doesn't really seem to traverse in terms of like a trade-off between having a blaster that has a higher rate of fire over one that has higher damage. Like, it seems as if constantly having a higher rate of fire is always going to outperform a blaster that has a higher rate of damage. That's just the way I see it anyway. But I mean, obviously, like I said, when it comes around to the game, it might be different. But the full release of the game, that is, it might be different. But at the moment, I feel as like there's not that much weapon diversity. It's purely based on preference. For instance, at something like mid-range, you'll occasionally run in, I can't remember the name of the blaster, it's completely come to mind. I know this one's the E11. I can't remember what the other blaster's called. I know the other one's the DLT-19, but the DLT-19 versus the E11, the E11's got a higher rate of damage, but the DLT-19 has an increased rate of fire. But over mid-range, say for instance, you'd expect the higher rate of damage weapon to put people down more, like, significantly on faster, I guess you could say. But it seems as though the trade-off between that and having the higher rate of fire, this is getting a hell of a lot complicated right now. Whatever, I'm just going to leave it as there's not really that much weapon diversity. Maybe I'll go into it a bit more in like another commentary or something like that. But I definitely think that needs to be worked on in terms of balancing out the blasters, as to make sure, you know, that it is actually some diversity in the game, because at the moment it seems like purely preference, and it seems like there's not a lot of difference between the blasters. It still seems like it takes like 3 shots from each blaster to like kill somebody, more or less, to the torso, even with like the highest damage or the highest rate of fire. I mean, the highest rate of fire obviously gets it done quicker, but you know, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of nitpicking about diversity and so on and so forth. It's just it's kind of like the most prevalent thing that I've seen within this game, that there doesn't really seem to be too much of a difference in what blaster you use, except it's purely based on preference. So I kind of like to see some more variation used in the game. But anyway, all in all, though, I'd say this game is like basically extremely fun, enjoyable. a good experience, a good laugh, you know, mess around, so on and so forth. I don't really see it as being too much of a competitive game. Yeah, here and there you'll take it competitively and you'll really want to win a game if you're against like a good team, or you know, maybe it's the game type that lends more towards that factor more than anything else. But I don't know, it is what it is. But as you can see there, for example, though, going on to another point, segueing, whatever, the netcoding issues at times seem a bit squiffy, to say the least. Like, sometimes you'll occasionally get it where your shot has the perfect lead and you're dead center on center mass or whatever, and you feel like you should be killing him, but you don't kill him, or your bullets don't register or something like that. But I guess that's just kind of a natural trait with any online game when it comes to basically, you know, an online multiplayer experience, and netcoding is never going to be as on point as it is in terms of single player. But you know, it's neither here nor there, I guess you could say. But I mean, I guess that's something as well that Beta's going to work on. I mean, they've got a month to really go through all the logs and the error reports and so on and so forth, and really understand a lot more of the issues pertaining towards the hit registration, the netcoding issues, so on and so forth. All around, it's pretty stellar to say the least, but I feel like it definitely could be worked on. But as is with most Battlefield games, you know, it's kind of a transitional process where over time it gets better and better throughout years and so on and so forth. Anyway, that's the end of the gameplay. Went 73-5. Hope you enjoyed it. Potentially expect more content. That's all I've got to say for now. Peace!